Hello and welcome to the EduTalk series hosted by Biotone Edu Partner Program and massage industry experts. With the challenges continuing to face massage schools, students, and practicing therapists thanks to COVID and the many variants, the EduTalk series by Biotone continues to support virtual learning and building massage community by connecting you with industry experts who share their knowledge and expertise on topics not only for class discussion, but career success. Tonight's expert is Laura Allen, who began her massage career in the 1990s. She's received numerous industry awards and was inducted into the Massage Therapy Hall of Fame in 2011. She's been a practice owner and is an approved NCB TMB continuing education provider. She additionally is an author of Nina McIntosh's The Educated Heart, and you may be familiar with her column, her feature column, I should say, Heart of Bodywork, that appears in Massage and Bodywork magazine. Laura has presented several EduTalks and has done an EduTalk author series, which can be listened to on biotone.com under the EduTalk tab. Let's listen and learn as Laura outlines business and marketing strategies for the post-COVID world. After 2 odd years of COVID turning massage businesses basically upside down, Laura shares advice on coming back better than ever with well thought out business and marketing strategies. Hopefully the worst of COVID is behind us. And though the world, our lives, and our businesses may be different now, having strategies to turn the downs into ups can only improve your post-COVID practice success. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And again, please be sure you have your video and sound off. Feel free, please, to chat questions during the talk, which Laura will answer or will answer at the end of her presentation. Thank you so much. So hi, Laura, welcome.
Thanks for having me, and thank you to Biotone. You know that since we've all had to skip conventions for a couple of years, I haven't seen any of you folks. So I hope everybody's doing well over there, and I appreciate you having me. So and I see people on here that I know, and I haven't gotten to see them either. So
well, maybe at the end, everybody will turn their video on. But this is an interesting topic, and as on the news today, they mentioned a new Omicron variant, a BA2. This isn't something that has gone away yet, and the strategies and approaches that we take, and your tips and advice will be very important. Tonight, everyone in the audience, this will be a little more conversational with Laura. And again, please submit chat questions, which will be discussed either during the talk or at the end of the presentation. Laura, in the intro, it was mentioned that you have had a professional practice. Do you still have a massage practice, and are you still practicing?
I am not still practicing. I do still have my license. I started, I think I was in the first wave of people in North Carolina that got licensed. And so I started doing massage, and I actually started taking classes in 1993 here and there. And then I dragged myself to massage school in 1998. I actually worked at the massage school in the clinic there and as an administrator for 5 years. Then I opened up a practice with myself and another massage therapist, and I ended up owning that for 13 years. and ended up keeping a dozen people busy in a town of 4,000 people. So I spent a lot of years doing that. Massage has not been my primary job since 2015. In 2015, I accepted a job with Soothing Touch as their massage division director, and I stuck with them for 3 years. And then in 2018, I became the vice president of sales at Cryoderm, and I'm now the president of sales and marketing at Cryoderm. But I had maintained about 8 or 10 clients a month for a long time, and just, personal clients of mine after I gave up my clinic. And when COVID struck, most of my clients were elderly people, which is a population that I have always enjoyed working with. And most of them had, problems. Some of them were immune compromised. Some I wouldn't put that label on, but some of them were. And I just did not feel comfortable about, possibly exposing them. Also, my husband and my mother are both very immune compromised, and I did not want to risk exposing them. So I have not done massage. I did renew my license last year. And, I hope the day comes whenever I feel good about going back and doing it again. But for all intents and purposes, it's not ever going to be my primary job again. I just always like to keep my hand in. So that was why I had maintained the clients that I had. So I contacted them when COVID started, and I said, don't want to risk you, don't want to risk my family. Not going to do it. And that was actually before the governor shut down massage here in North Carolina, where I live. Several weeks after I stopped, he did in fact shut it down, and it stayed shut down for several months. But it's been opened back up again. And I think the environment has changed a whole lot since this happened to us. And I'm sure there's somebody on here that's been personally affected. You can't be in a crowd of a dozen people, and not know somebody who has either been sick with it themselves or had a family member or a close friend that was affected by it.
That is very, very true. And, as you're out and about and survey the massage industry landscape, what are the business and marketing challenges that you think that massage therapists are facing right now?
Well, you know what? Strangely, I do still have my finger on the pulse. I have thousands of massage therapists on my various social media, and excuse me, I'm also the administrator of the North Carolina group of massage therapists. Massage is booming everywhere that I see. I mean, I belong to a bunch of different massage groups on Facebook, and I see people begging for help every day, massage businesses asking for help, people wanting others to join their practice, saying they can't handle it all. I think that, I don't know if COVID just stressed people out so much that more people feel like they should avail themselves of massage. But I think it has really, in a way, had a positive impact that maybe more people just want to seek it out. But I do know that I think some of the challenges that I've noticed, actually, some of them are not the massage itself or the massage business itself, but
I'm on mute and no video. The meal you are going to have tonight.
Someone's talking.
Hello. Can you please, excuse me, can you please mute yourself? Okay. All right.
The one problem that I've seen a lot of massage therapists having, for example, has to do with their inability to find childcare. A lot of states went to online schooling, and in some instances, daycares were closed. The ones that were open, I know therapists right now who want to be working, and they cannot find daycare for their children. So they're younger children, and so they're still at home, or doing the best they can to work that out, with friends or family members that can watch their children, for example. So the other challenges, of course, are that I think this was a wake up call for us that we do need to be, as diligent sanitation wise as we can. And people have spent extra time, cleaning in between clients. Some people have had to cut down on the number of clients that they're taking on account of spending that extra time. There's no just, going from one to another, change the sheets and go to from one to another. I don't think anyone does that anymore. I hope they don't anyway. I do hope that they're taking the time to sanitize their room and their office where people are touching surfaces and that kind of thing, to just be as careful as possible. There's plenty of challenges. The cost of everything has gone up. Gas and food and rent and all of that other, medical care, everything has gone up. And so I've seen a lot of people on social media say, well, I'm having to raise my prices. Well, you know what? Don't feel guilty about raising your prices. People need to raise their prices anyway on a more or less regular basis, every year or two. Evaluate whether or not you are still being profitable in your business. You deserve to make a good living. So don't apologize whenever you raise your prices, and don't feel bad about it. You've got extra expenses related to this in a lot of ways, of the masking and all of that. So I think everyone who comes on is going to talk. I do think that the massage business has actually bounced back very well from what I've seen. Everyone that I know, I see people on Facebook every day, saying that they're booked out for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's a good position to be in. So I know it was challenging while it was shut down in a lot of states. And I also know people who ignored the shutdowns and kept right on going. And I didn't like to see those people bragging about that on social media, but some did. And I think that it's not just the massage environment that's changed. It feels like the whole world has changed, doesn't it?
It really does. And it does, who knows? I mean, we're not through this yet. And I remember when EduTalk started that I thought it was going to be for three months at most, but COVID has gone on and its variants, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I would like to know when we're talking about raising rates, the strategy behind that, of course, is you need to make an income and you need to cover your costs. You need to live. Do you have any recommendations for reaching out to clients you might not have seen in 3 years, or how to go about, fanning the flames again?
Well, I think the best thing to do is, stay in contact with your clients. When I first opened my business, I used to actually send out a print newsletter, and that quickly got out of hand because of how quickly my business grew. So I went to an online newsletter, and people had to opt in on it on the intake form. We did not contact anybody that didn't want to receive one. But I just stayed in touch with people. And something, I used to schedule my marketing time every morning. The first 30 minutes that I was in my office, I had that blocked out just the same as if I had an appointment with somebody, and I would spend 30 minutes doing something to market my business. So one thing that I used to do was call clients that I hadn't seen in a while. And, I never had anybody act like they got offended by that. And I would just call someone and say, hey, Martha, this is Laura, your massage therapist. I haven't heard from you in a while. I was just calling to see if you were okay. Sometimes I was the recipient of bad news, like something bad has happened in their family. They have a sick family member, or they're having to be a caregiver for someone, or, some other lost their job, or something else has happened. And, but people always, acted like they were fine with the fact that I called them. I also have been known my whole life for sending handwritten notes to people. And I've had people call me up and say, do you know how long it's been since I got a handwritten letter from anybody? And I would just, I wouldn't write a diatribe. I would just send a few lines on a postcard or something, or on a card. I always would check the local news. Now, I live in a small town. If you live in New York City, you may be this may be a lot less effective for you, but I live in a small town, and whenever I saw in the newspaper that someone had graduated or had gotten a promotion or gotten married or something like that, I would always send I had little blank note cards with my logo on the front of them, and I use those for everything. So I would use them to send sympathy notes or congratulatory notes or whatever, and just keep in touch with people. I think it's a key thing for you to be involved, and for you to be out in your community some. I was on the board. I see Jody said 100% agree with the handwritten notes. That does give people the impression that that you took a few minutes out of your day to get in touch with them. And I think that's a good thing. I tried to cultivate community in my practice. I would attend other people's grand openings. I don't care if it was another massage business. I would still attend their grand opening, because we all need people we can refer people to. So I was always out of the community. If I saw someone was having an open house, I actually served on the board of our Chamber of Commerce for 5 years. And speaking of ethics, I wrote their code of ethics. When I joined that board, they didn't have one. And I said, you don't have a code of ethics. So I wrote one for our chamber. But I was real involved in my community. And I think that was a huge key to my being able to, keep 12 people busy for a long, long time in such a small town.
Well, those are actually some good strategies, and you're right. A personal note, it will stand out among the junk mail. You're saying, I care about you. You're reaching out. I also liked what you were saying about time blocking, because you are time blocking for your massage appointments.
Yes.
So adding that extra, starting my day, making sure all my paperwork is taken care of, having a clean look at what's ahead of you for that day. Sounds like a great strategy to initiate to just keep you on track.
I want to go back a moment too to about raising your rates. Now, most massage businesses these days have a website. A lot of you have Facebook pages. There's people on here that I've been on your business Facebook page. And so if you want to raise your rates, my strategy for doing that was always to notify people of that. In my emails, I would put a little sign on the desk. I would put a sign in the restroom, put it on our Facebook page, put it on the website, and just say effective such and such a date. And I would usually give, a couple of months notice. Effective such and such date, the price will raise to whatever, and handle it in that manner. Now, if I had people who had not been in for a long time, if y'all have everybody heard of Vista Print, you can get really, really cheap printed materials from there. And they used to have this deal all the time that they did of getting 500 free postcards that you only had to pay the shipping on. I don't think I paid for a postcard in 13 years. I would buy the postcards, and I would send those out with $10 off on your next massage. And I would send that out to people that hadn't seen in a long time. Whenever I'd raise the rates, go through your client list and send those out. And then it's not shocking to people when they come in and say, oh, they went up $10 or whatever, but I'm getting a discount this time. That was always worked very well for me. And I would also send those $10 off postcards to people during their birthday month, my good clients during their birthday month, regular people and that kind of thing. So that was just one little marketing thing that I had, and it did not kill me to give $10 off. And I didn't penalize my therapist by taking that $10 away from them either. I sucked that up. So
Right.
yeah.
Uh, well, also, you mentioned earlier about being out and about in the community. And as spring approaches and the snow melts and more running events or festivals, spring festivals, it's a great time to be out passing out your business cards and, letting people know who you are and what you do and where to find you.
You know something, some people think business cards are obsolete, and I 100% disagree with that. Not everybody wants to, if they meet you somewhere, they don't automatically want to put your name in the phone or something like that. And then if they do and they don't put massage therapist, they're going to look at that contact later on and go, who in the world is that? So
Right.
I used to make it a practice to give out 2 business cards every single day. Because you look at it, you're stopping at the store on the way to work or on the way home. You're standing in line at the grocery store. You're standing in line at the tag office or the doctor's office, sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's office or whatever. And I used to make it a point to give away 2 business cards every single day. And, I didn't necessarily get a call the next day or the next week. Sometimes somebody would call and they'll go, I know you don't remember me, but you gave me your business card at Dr. Lane's office last year, and I'm just now getting around to calling. That I always thought that was effective. I mean, if they call next year instead of next week, that was always fine with me because I was in it for the long haul. So, if you, I do think one thing is important right now, because there are still people that are concerned about COVID. One of the reasons that I've remained as concerned about it as I have been is that the county that I live in at one point in time there's 100 counties in North Carolina. We had the second lowest vaccination rate in the state of all the counties, the less people getting vaccinated. And, I'm not here to argue with people about whether you want a vaccination or whether you don't, or whether you're good with wearing a mask or whether you're not. And I will say that whichever side of that you are on, there are a certain number of people who are on your same side. But I think that it makes the public feel better when they know, for example, if I had someone contact me twice in the last few weeks, a local person here, that's local people here that said, do you know any massage therapists who, I hate you're not practicing right now. Do you know any massage therapists who are vaccinated and wear a mask while they're working? And fortunately I do, so I sent them to those people. But I think if you're upfront about it on your website and on your business Facebook page, for example, that our therapists are vaccinated, our therapist mask, please be prepared to wear a mask when you come in, if you're face up or whatever. If you're comfortable with saying that, there are going to be a certain number of people who are attracted to you for that reason. And if someone calls you and you're not vaccinated and you don't mask, if someone calls you and they ask, then just be honest about it and let that person make their own decision of whether they want to patronize you or not. That's just the integrity thing to do, is just to let people know they're not trying to argue politics with you. Maybe they're just concerned for the same reason that I'm concerned. I have immune compromised family members. So I think honesty is always the best policy there.
Right. Well, you've been covering some changes that have happened and trends that are coming along with COVID, since it started through today. And part of what I'm thinking is, is it a trend or should it be a concern for the therapist who's anxious to have an appointment, to have a client? What do you suggest about qualifying your clients?
Well, something, if you want to qualify your clients, of course, all of the massage organizations have screening questionnaires on their website that you can download and use. In fact, I think ABMP and AMTA, I think they've even made those available to non-members that you can get on there and see COVID updates and that kind of thing. I actually helped the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards author their COVID manual that they put out for practice a couple of years ago when this first started going on. Myself and some other educators were asked to participate in writing that. And they're also on the Federation website. There is a link to the latest COVID news from all the state boards as to what they're, if they have any restrictions in place or that kind of thing. So just keep up with what's going on in your state. And as you mentioned a moment ago, the new variant that's come along, folks, we don't know how long this is going to last. We may live with this for the rest of our lives. I'm 62 years old and I'm going, well, this came along when I was 60. I wonder if it's still going to be going on when I'm 70. I mean, who in the world knows? We don't know how long it's going to last. And you should not feel guilty in any way about taking care of yourself in whatever manner that you feel called to do that. I do know some people who went out of business during COVID. Now, some people had rent that they couldn't afford or, overhead that they couldn't afford. Some turned to a mobile massage business, or some went to work for somebody else, and some changed jobs altogether. When you think about the fact that most of us practicing massage are in a small enclosed room with people, you may not have ventilation in there, you may not have a window, you may not be able to afford an expensive air filtration system or whatever. And the bottom line is you have to do whatever you feel led to do to protect yourself and your family. I know that nobody wants to go dragging this disease home to their family. I was telling Donnell before we got on here, this is the longest period of time in more than 30 years that I have not gotten massage myself. And due to the fact that I did have a lot of staff members at my clinic, half of the massage therapists in town used to work at my place. And it's not that I don't trust them. I shared with Donnell that one therapist had a lady come in and she was doing the screening questions. And the woman answered negatively to everything of, no, I haven't been out of the country. No, I haven't been exposed and all that. And at the end of the massage, as she was walking out the door, she turned to the therapist and said, by the way, you need to quarantine for 2 weeks. I'm positive. I know I shouldn't have come, but I really needed the massage. And I told Donnell, I said, I would have been in jail because I would have knocked her down in my office right there. I mean, the nerve of some people. So you can screen people. We have no way of knowing, whether they're telling the truth or not. And a person that might have been fine one day may be infected the next. So I do think that this is a time that people still need to be cautious, especially if you have immune compromised people in your family, or if you happen to be immune compromised yourself. I think caution will be a byword from now on, and I hope it is. I hope that people keep their sanitation game stepped up and just do everything you can do as a preventative measure. It is actually not against the law for you to ask if someone has been vaccinated. And I don't think you could be sued for refusing to see people who are not vaccinated. That's your choice, totally your choice. So I would still be asking screening questions if I were you, but that's your choice again.
Well, I'd like to just recap a little bit, COVID benefits. I mean, it's just been horrible, awful across the board. But from it, we have to adapt and we have to be clever and not give up. But, do you have any nutshell COVID benefits that, can be incorporated into the practice. And
Well,
number one, you just said, is continuing to take precaution and protect yourself.
yes, I think that has been a wake-up call for people about, how lax we may have been in the past, just to think it was enough to change the sheets and get on with the next person. And now that this has happened, it's not that you have to go to work in a hazmat suit, but we do need to clean surfaces that people touch in between every massage and that kind of thing. So, and as I said, one benefit that I've seen is that massage business is apparently booming. I see so many spas and individuals on Facebook every single day that are saying, I need help, looking to add another therapist to my practice. The franchises are, asking for help all the time. In fact, I think jobs of all types are available. I don't know if that's the case everywhere, but here in my county, which is actually North Carolina's second biggest county area wise, everything on both sides of the road has help wanted signs out. I know some massage therapists who, while they were off during the governor's mandate, they started doing these DoorDash things and whatever the other one is, Uber Eats or something like that. I mean, delivering groceries, delivering food to people that couldn't get out. And I guess that was, something that you can get in and out of very quickly. You don't have to make a long-term work commitment. You can work whatever time you want. So I did see people doing that, but I think the massage business is really booming right now. I honestly do.
Which is wonderful. And, I wanted to just kind of circle back, like schools and massage professionals. It's not if COVID goes away, but do you think they're better prepared now with the precautions that they've had to take in moving forward? And is there anything schools can be doing further to, promote to students?
Well, we've got at least
Potential
one
students.
we've got at least one school owner on here. Maybe we should ask her. I am in close contact with some school owners. I just finished collaborating with a school owner on a new book that'll be coming out next month, I think. He actually experienced having to close his school for a couple of weeks on account of COVID because, of having a student that came in positive and that kind of thing. A lot of schools did adapt by going to online learning, which of course is not ideal for hands-on, but you have to do what you have to do. Most of the states were pretty quick to react with allowances for online education and allowances for online CE, whereas formerly, a lot of states required that a certain number of hours be done in person. I know a lot of states that relaxed that rule, and it's still relaxed here in North Carolina. They're actually letting us do online through 2023. So I do still take my continuing education, but I know that some school owners have struggled. And, if you have there's small mom and pop schools that only have 5 or 6 students, and then there's some of the bigger corporate schools that may have 25 or more. They've had difficulties too with, trying to keep people who are testing positive out. And, I've known a couple of school owners who had teachers that got sick or someone in their family got sick. Could we possibly unmute Sandy Fritz and let her say a word, because she is a long-standing school owner, and I would
Yes.
love to hear what she has to say about what's gone on there from her perspective as being a school owner.
Are we
Well,
talking about, there I am. Are we talking
Hi.
about COVID changes or just trends right now?
Yeah, COVID. I think COVID changes.
Yeah, I had to, and I was really involved when this whole hit, the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education. hopped on board with a series of meetings where educators could get together and try to figure out how to navigate this. I think what we've learned is that technology allowed for flexibility. And I don't see us going backwards on that. I think education is going to make good decisions. My hope is that there will be good decisions made on what lends itself to more of a remote format, which is not like this person is sitting in front of a computer by themselves. It's the Zoom format or Teams or something like that. So anything that I would typically be lecturing or, we would be discussing, that all lends itself very well to that kind of a remote format. You mentioned about people not having childcare and all kinds of things where we have to stop and think about how we're going to navigate even things like travel or gas. And if we can do a successful job with relevant portions of the class, I think that's a positive for remote education that will come out of COVID. We've got to not fuss about masks. Masks work. And that's one of the things that I've been very diligent about is people are in masks. That's just no question about it. Enrollments, demand is really high for massage therapists. Enrollments are still low. So I don't understand what's going on with that.
Well, Sandy, you also have a massage business. What have you noticed at the business?
Yeah, we have a franchise business in the same facility as the school. The family owns a franchise. It's a smaller one. It's Massage Green, which is a Michigan startup. We're busy. We are really, really, really busy. And even with the school feeding into the clinic, to Massage Green, we're still short on therapists. So it's very strange out there right now in terms of people enrolling in massage school, the demand for massage, they're not matching at all.
We actually have a lot, I think there's about half the number of massage schools in business now that there were, for example, 20 years ago. The number of schools has dropped off some. I don't know how many have dropped off, if any, due to COVID. I'm not sure if any have closed due to COVID or not, but
there were the smaller, across the demographics, the smaller schools that were barely holding on and being run by owners that had been in the business a long, long, long time, I think saw this as a perfect time to exit.
well,
And just say, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing massage over 40 years, but the school is 35 years old. And I had those moments where I would go, you know what? Being a school owner is hard work, especially if it's a small boutique type school. On the other side of it, I've seen community colleges drop programs.
yes.
That it's just not working there for some reason. I've seen the corporate schools, the bigger corporate schools, either offer in fewer locations or drop their programs. And we've seen what happened with the Cortiva thing, where that was rolled 2 or 3 times amongst corporate, I'll use the word owner because I can't think of anything else, and closed at least half of their schools.
Yeah.
So I am often befuddled on what to figure out and how to navigate what's going on.
Well, thank you, Sandy. I certainly do appreciate you speaking up there, because you're a school owner and I'm not. So I thought it would be nice to ask you to comment on that.
Yeah, I think that I found that the hybrid blended program using shifting presentation for concentrated hands-on in the classroom, coupled with the face-to-face remote education, has worked excellently, and I intend to keep with it.
Great. That's great. I've had the opportunity to, Donnell, I guess it did not really occur to me that Biotone started this in response to COVID. But whether COVID is over tomorrow, I'm sure we all wish it was. I think this is a great thing, and y'all need to keep right on doing this, because I've heard some good presentations on here. I really enjoyed the time that Cherie Sonomo and I were on together. And this is absolutely a good series for you to have. So I appreciate Biotone doing this.
Well, thank you so much. And, as I mentioned earlier, I think in the beginning we thought flu season and then it would be over. And with schools, going remote or closing and all of that, and trade shows not happening, there's still so much knowledge and information to be shared.
Yes.
That the EduTalk series was just a blessing during this time to build community and have experts like yourselves present on different topics. So I'll plug it. We're booked into 2023.
Great.
So continue to join us. And I'd like to, just in wrapping up, ask if there's anything else that you'd like to mention. A lot of what, before I turn it over, but a lot of what Laura has said through her presentation tonight on business and marketing strategies in the post-COVID world, there is a handout that I will be including in the follow-up email tomorrow with this recording. So if you didn't get all your notes written down tonight or ideas, there will be a handout attached with tomorrow's follow-up. And in closing, Laura?
Well, I would just invite you to, if anyone has any questions that I didn't answer here, my email is educatedheart@gmail.com. My website is lauraallenmt.com, and the books that I have authored and the classes that I'm teaching are on there. I'm very excited, a little bit nervous, but I've always attended a lot of conventions, and I haven't been to any since COVID started. And of course, the big ones that I used to go to, the AMTA National and the World Massage Festival and all that, were called off for the last couple of years. So I am teaching at the World Massage Festival in July, which will be in Cherokee, North Carolina. And I can't even remember who all's coming to that. I know Irene Diamond will be there teaching, and Christine Courtney, my dear friend from Ireland, will be there teaching, and a lot of other good folks. I think Natalie Cecilia's there. I may be off the wall here, but I'm looking forward to getting back out and seeing everybody. You know what? Due to the fact that I've worked at home for 7 years now, COVID did not make a real big change in my life, other than not doing massage part-time anymore. And also, some of you who do know me personally, I'm a musician. I've been playing music out in bars for over 40 years. And on weekends when I wasn't playing, I would usually go somewhere to hear friends of mine play. I have not been doing that. I can be found a lot of nights sitting on my porch playing the guitar. My husband and I, he plays the harmonica and I do too. We sit out there and we swap harmonica licks. It did change my home life some, but I've actually found out that, it hasn't killed me not to go anywhere. I've really been enjoying myself and the extra time that I've had at home. So I just thought, if life hands you lemons, make lemonade. And it's been a joy. It really has. I haven't you know, I guess I'm just strange in that way, but I've done my mother's grocery shopping, so my elderly mother didn't have to go out and do that. I have not availed myself of grocery delivery services. I just put on a mask and go in the grocery store. So it hasn't been a huge change in my life. I know it has for a lot of you. I know people that have lost people, and I'm very sorry. And if you personally suffered from COVID, I'm sorry. I hope you're not affected in the long haul. I know people who have been. So this has certainly been a strange time for all of us. I thank everybody for coming. I wish you all the best, and may we someday get over this.
That's it. But we have good business marketing strategies to hold us over till then. And had I known, I would have asked you to bring your guitar if we had more time. So next talk. Speaking of next talks, in March, we have Paul Kohlmeyer, and he will do an edu talk on cupping, understanding the evidence, which should be very interesting. And on March 22nd, we have Heath and Nicole Reed, who presented on Thai yoga massage earlier at the beginning of the year. They will be doing tools to embody a self-care lifestyle. And then one of our attendees tonight, Jody Scholes, will be presenting in April. And we've got some great presenters and edu talks lined up. So please join us. Thank you so much. Watch your email for the follow-up with today's recording and Laura's handout. And thank you, Sandy, for jumping in and giving us the school owners side of things.
Yes.
I didn't see any other questions come into chats, but I think I agree with Sandy. We'll just leave tonight visualizing you out on the front porch with your guitar and your husband with your harmonica. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really
so much,
appreciate it.
everyone. Take
Thanks.
care and be safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.